Everyone, it's just going to be a moment. We're working through a few technical glitches.
Oh my. Hey, did you know that some guy bought the glass plant?
I thought I heard something about that. And do you know who it was or what it's for? I can't remember.
And it's Russell.
You guys are live and recording.
Thank you.
See the sidewalk. That's what you think. I mean, I think that. Spend almost probably $1 million just to bring the place up to date. The road improvement, the parking lot. Yeah. Yeah. Which, what's that? Yeah. No. Fine. Yeah. Well, still.
Chair, I think we're good to go whenever you are.
Okay, thank you, and welcome everybody to the work session. I'll call the meeting to order. Can we have roll call, please?
Commissioner Cook Askins,
Present.
Commissioner Messon,
Here.
Commissioner Thomas,
Present.
Vice Chair Harriman. I'm sorry,
Here.
Chair Kurth.
Here.
We have quorum.
Thank you. And at this time, are there any public comments showing up online?
At this time, I have no public speakers.
Thank you. And we'll move on to any agenda item questions. Is there anybody that has questions for staff for this workshop portion having to do with agenda item number 1 through agenda item number 5?
I have one hand raised.
Yes.
Just one moment. I'm trying to find that one in the whole scheme of. Angel Esparza.
Yes, good evening, members of the Planning Commission. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Do you have a specific agenda item that you're requesting to talk about this evening?
Yeah, so I was hoping to insert some public comment into the, excuse me, into the scope of meeting for the Ottawa Business Center. Have you guys reached that point yet, or are you going to open?
We
up
have
the
not,
public
but this is the pre-workshop for any questions of the commission of staff. And in about 5 minutes, we're going to start the meeting. And I believe the item you're talking about is item number 3. Are you okay to hold out just a few minutes till we get to item number 3, and then we'll be opening up the public hearing with comments on that item?
Absolutely. I just get a little confused when you guys introduce the public comment. I think it's the only chance we get. No worries. I can help out on that.
Totally understandable. Thanks for being here, and we'll be getting to that item shortly. Are there any questions of the commissioners on any of the other items we have tonight?
On item number 5, I was just curious about the changes being proposed. Is there any particular reason that you're moving approval of minutes after public comments and roll call and so forth? Any special reason for doing that?
Yes, thank you for that question, Commissioner Thomas. The main reason for moving the public comment up front is to be in line with how the city council conducts business. So we just want to make it easier for the public to understand it's there to just provide public comment, that they could do that at the beginning of the meeting. So that is the suggestion, but obviously it's up to the Planning Commission to make that determination.
Okay, I guess I was just more concerned about the moving of the approval of the minutes down to number 5 versus number 3 where it was. The public comments are okay. I was just curious as to why they were moving the approval of minutes down. It was number 3. They will move to number 5.
I believe it was shuffled down, and it actually would give the public the opportunity to comment on the minutes before you take action on them. Let's see here. Public comment.
Scott, if you'd like, I can jump in a little.
Sure.
So the city council does their public comments at the beginning of the meeting, and it allows all of the individuals to actually provide comment on all of the agenda items so that you can consider their interest in their opinions prior to taking action on any item. And the way the city council meeting works is minutes tend to be like a consent item, and any public hearing items would actually come before a consent item. So it allows it to be more in line with the council, and then allows you to take those public comments at the beginning so people are heard prior to any action being taken on an item. The city council does take additional public comment to only public hearing items. So any of the other additional business would not allow members of the public to comment on, other than the original at the beginning public comment section.
Okay.
And I would like to point out, now that we're on item number 5, that these revisions are just to streamline some immediate requests to change this to correspond more with the city council, but also obviously there's new laws that are coming into play, and our city attorney's office is going to be looking at these minutes and likely bringing back some revisions to make sure that they meet current legal standards. So I just wanted to let you know that we'll likely be bringing back the minutes for you guys to look at again, which is a good exercise, and that'll happen later this year.
You mean the actual planning commission rules themselves, not the minutes, right?
I'm sorry, I misspoke.
That's okay. We were fixated on where the minutes were in the order, and I think Jennifer gave a good explanation of why we're shuffling those around a little bit so that everything can be commented on, by the public, unless they wanted to speak at a specific public hearing, like our first speaker tonight wanted to do. So I think that works, but since we're moving the work session and a few other things, we did have to shift a few things around. And since it is part of our rules, we need to change those first before the commission changes its actual procedure.
Thanks for the explanations. And are there any other commissioners that have any questions on any of the agenda items before we move forward? Okay, then I will adjourn, and quite possibly for the last time, the workshop to our regular meeting, which will start in approximately 1 minute at 5 o'clock. Okay, it's now 5 o'clock. I'll go ahead and call to order the City of Victorville Planning Commission meeting of Wednesday, January 12th, 2022. Can I have roll call, please?
Commissioner Cook Askins,
Present?
Commissioner Meason,
Here.
Commissioner Thomas,
Present.
Vice Chair Herman,
Here.
Chair Kurth.
Here.
We have quorum.
Thank you. And at this time, if you'll all rise for the invocation led to us by Commissioner Messon, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by myself.
If you can all bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to meet this evening in a safe way. Although we are in challenging times, we hope that everyone was able to enjoy their holiday season with loved ones as best as they could. And we ask that you continue looking over us, providing us guidance and good health as we navigate through this new year. Amen.
Amen. Place your hand over your heart and repeat. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag
Like,
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now I'll read a public participation notice for this meeting quickly. The Planning Commission is interested in hearing from the public, and individuals from the public may speak on agenda items or on issues not posted on the agenda during this public comment section, providing those issues are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Planning Commission. Individual speakers may address the Planning Commission once per public comment period and once per each public hearing item for up to 3 minutes. If you would like to comment on a public hearing item, please click the raise your hand feature located on the Zoom screen. Once comments are invited, the speaker will be called on by name, then recognized by the city clerk to be unmuted. Your understanding and cooperation are appreciated. And so with that, we move on to written communications, agenda item number 1, staff overview, please.
Thank you, Chairman Kurth, fellow commissioners. Item number 1 is related to the recent surge in COVID cases. We're bringing forth a recommendation for the Planning Commission to meet in compliance with AB 361. To give the commission and the public some background, back in June of 2021, the state issued an executive order N-07-21, which formally rescinded the stay-at-home order, which allowed cities like ours to conduct meetings telephonically. Later in the year, Assembly Bill 361 was signed into law by the governor in September of 2021. So this Assembly bill adds new procedures, which clarifies the requirements for conducting remote meetings. Those 3 are requiring comments to be conducted in real time, which we do through Zoom. We also state that there's no action during disruptions. So if there was some technical difficulties where people can't get connected, or if Zoom drops completely, we're forbidden to take any action during those times. And then it also requires periodic findings. And this is just to proclaim a state of emergency and make the finding that you're conducting these meetings remotely due to the risk of the health safety of the attendees if we were to have this in person. So with that, the recommendation before you tonight is that the Planning Commission make the following findings. A state of emergency as a result of the threat of COVID-19 still exists and continues to impact the ability of the members of the public and the Planning Commission members, city staff, and consultant presenters to present safely in person. And 2, the state of California and the city of Victorville continue to follow safety measures in response to COVID-19 as ordered and recommended by the Centers of Disease Control, the California Department of Public Health, and the County of San Bernardino as applicable, including facial coverings when required and social distancing. And 3, the Planning Commission hereby declares that pursuant to these findings, city staff are authorized to utilize teleconferencing accessibility to conduct public meetings pursuant to Assembly Bill 361. And therefore, I'll hand it back to you, Chairman Kurth, and I'm available should you have any questions.
Okay, thank you for that overview. Any questions on this item from the commissioners? Okay, then I'll open up the public hearing on this item. Are we showing anyone that would like to speak on item number 1 from the public?
No, we are not.
Thank you. Then I'll close the public hearing portion of comments, and I will bring it back to the commission should you have any further discussion, or if somebody would like to make a motion in agreement upon the findings.
Commissioner Thomas moved that we adhere to the recommendations of staff on item number 1.
I, Commissioner Cook Askins, second.
Thank you. We have a first by Commissioner Thomas, a second by Commissioner Cook Askins. I'll take a roll call vote. Commissioner Cook Askins,
Aye.
Commissioner Meason,
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas,
Aye.
Vice Chair Harriman,
Aye.
Chair Kurth.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to item number 2, which is approval of minutes from the December 8th, 2021 regular Planning Commission meeting.
Chairman Kurth, if I could interject just 1 second. After the publication of this agenda, we did notice an error on item 3 of the minutes, page 13, where the chairman reopened the meeting, but it says that the chairman just opened the meeting. So we just want to make a clarifying edit to these minutes, should they be approved tonight, that the second time that the chairman opened the meeting, that it states that the chairman reopened the public meeting. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, that's noted. And can we, I missed the special order presentation. Can we deal with the minutes right now and then go back to that?
Sure, that's under your purview.
Okay, then assuming, taking into consideration the correction to the minutes that staff just made us aware of, do we have a motion to approve the minutes from December 8th, 21?
I'll move to approve.
I second.
So we have a first by Vice Chair Harriman. We have a second by Commissioner Meason. Take a roll call vote. Commissioner Cook Askins,
Aye.
Commissioner Meason,
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas,
Aye.
Vice Chair Harriman,
Aye.
Chair Kurth.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, so then next we'll deal with the special orders, which would be the reorganization of the Planning Commission. It's time again to make a selection of chairman and vice chairman. Does anyone out there would like to make a nomination or a recommendation for chairman position?
I do. I nominate Rob Kurth to continue as chairman of the Planning Commission.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Is there
Commissioner.
anyone else there that would like to make a nomination for chairman? Okay, do we, is the process that we would vote on that one, or do we vote on both together once the nominations are set?
So once all the nominations are taken for chairman, then we would ask each individual by voice to tell us which member they were nominating, and then whoever receives the majority vote will become chairman.
Can we do that then right now and ask for that that vote?
Sure. So I have one nomination for Mr. Kurth for chairman. I did not hear any further nominations. Are there further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Hearing no further nominations, there's one nomination. So Chair Kurth will be the chairman. Congratulations, Chair Kurth.
Thank you very much. And then as far as vice chairman, do we have anyone that would like to nominate for the position of vice chairman?
I, Commissioner Thomas, nominate Commissioner Harriman, Vice Chair.
I second. Are there any other nominations for anyone else for vice chair? Okay, hearing no one, and since Commissioner Harriman was the only nominee, then Commissioner Harriman will stay on as vice chairman. Congratulations.
Well, thank you, sir.
Now we move into the public hearing items. Agenda item number 3, staff report, please.
Thank you, Chairman Kurth, fellow commissioners. Item number 3 is case PLAN 21-00031. It is a public scoping meeting for the preparation of a draft environmental impact report for an approximately 1 million square foot warehouse distribution building and a tentative parcel map to allow for the creation of one parcel from 17 existing parcels on an approximately 52-acre site zoned M2 heavy industrial. This is located on property north of and abutting Ottawa Street and east of Hesperia Road. In compliance with CEQA, staff is bringing forward the scoping meeting that corresponds with the notice of preparation for the draft environmental impact report for this project. We do have presenters here tonight. We have James Hamilton. He's the environmental compliance analysis for T&B planning, who is preparing the draft environmental impact report. And with that, the recommendation tonight for the commission is to conduct a public scoping meeting to receive a project overview presentation from staff, take public input, and provide their own comments regarding potential environmental issues of concern. And with that, I'll hand it back to you, Chairman Kurth, and we do have James Hamilton available to present an overview and the purpose of the scoping meeting.
Okay, thank you for that. And are there any questions at this time from the commission of staff on number 3? Okay, hearing none, then I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing and public comments portion, and would like to open it up to the consultant team for the presentation.
All right, everyone. Am I coming in loud and clear here? This is James Hamilton.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, so I'm going to share my screen. If you give me just a moment. All right, is everybody seeing that PowerPoint?
Yes, I see it.
Okay, great. So hello, my name is James Hamilton with TMB Planning. Our firm is preparing the EIR for the Ottawa Business Center project. Several members of the project team are here, including Nicole Morse from TMB Planning, the project applicant, Tom Cruikshank from Link Logistics, the project architects, Doug Henricks and Incon Kim from HP Architects, and the project engineer, Shane Schubert from DEA Inc. We are here today for a scoping meeting for a plot plan review in compliance with Victorville Municipal Code. The project applicant is processing a plot plan review to develop a vacant 51.92 acre site with a modern 1-story, 48-foot tall, 992,520 square foot warehouse building. The building will feature 10,000 square feet of office area and 236 dock doors. The project is located in the southeastern portion of the city of Victorville, immediately north of Ottawa Street, east of Hesperia Road, and south of Terra Linda Street. The project site has a general plan designation of heavy industrial and a zoning designation of heavy industrial M2. The project site is surrounded by light industrial uses to the north, the Burlington North Santa Fe Railway and residential uses to the east, heavy industrial uses to the south, and commercial uses and vacant land to the west. The project includes a site that provides for the construction and operation of an industrial building with approximately 996,164 square feet of building floor area and related site improvements, including landscaping, parking, and infrastructure facilities. The proposed building would feature 328 parking spaces, 306 trailer parking spaces, 120 loading dock doors on the north side of the building, and 116 dock doors located on the south side of the building. Note that the proposed building is being constructed on a speculative basis, meaning the final end user is not known at this time. The project also includes a tentative parcel map to allow for the creation of one parcel from the 17 existing parcels on the 51.92 acres site. Access to the project site would be provided by two driveways along Ottawa Street. Both driveways would provide inbound, outbound access for passenger vehicles and trucks. The intent of the site plan is to separate trucks and autos while on site. Trucks and autos would circulate from the southwest or southeast. However, only trucks would be permitted within the northern and southern truck courtyards. Trucks would travel from the project site south on Hesperia Road and west on Nisqually Road, to the I-15. As depicted in the landscape plan, trees will be planted around the perimeter of the site, as well as within the parking area. Depicted here are the proposed building elevations from the south along Ottawa Street and from the east from Hesperia Road. Building articulations will be located at the entrances along the southeast and southwest, with additional features such as recessed wood paneling, color, and glass. The following slides will discuss CEQA requirements and process. An EIR is the best available tool to ensure that all environmental issues are fully vetted and analyzed. During this meeting, we will provide information about CEQA and the EIR process. The purpose of an EIR scoping meeting is to understand the topic areas that the public wants addressed and to identify potential environmental concerns as well as any potential mitigation. This meeting will also identify the next steps and additional opportunities for public input. An EIR is an informational document that informs the public and decision makers about potential physical impacts of a project. An EIR is an informational document that identifies ways to avoid or reduce adverse environmental effects, including mitigation measures and alternatives. Environmental effects are just one of the factors considered by the decision makers when deciding whether or not to approve a project. This slide depicts three key stages of the EIR process. We are currently at the notice of preparation phase, which invites members of the public to provide comment on the scope of environmental topics to be analyzed in the EIR. It should be noted that there are three opportunities for public input. The first of which being the 30-day public comment period associated with the NOP ending tonight, followed by the 45-day public comment period after submitting the notice of completion and notice of availability of the draft EIR. Finally, the public is invited to provide comments at the public hearing of the final EIR. This graphic depicts another way of looking at the process in terms of steps. The next step after the scoping meeting is publication of the draft EIR and subsequent comment period. We will respond to comments made on the EIR in the final EIR. Following the publication of the final EIR, the project will again go before the city, the project will go before the city at the Planning Commission. CEQA puts forth 20 environmental topic areas for initial consideration for further analysis in the EIR. Listed here is the complete list of resource areas that the project must be assessed under. Based on our evaluation of the proposed project, the EIR will focus on these 14 topic areas, which may have significant effects. These include air quality, biological resources, cultural resources, energy, geology and soils, greenhouse gas emissions, hazards and hazardous materials, hydrology and water quality, land use and planning, noise, transportation, tribal cultural resources, and utilities and service systems. After our initial review, we expect that these topical areas will have a less than significant impacts and therefore will be scoped out of the EIR. These include aesthetics, agriculture and forestry resources, mineral resources, population and housing, public services, recreation, and wildfire. Anyone who wants to be notified for future meetings and public review periods should contact Travis Clark, Associate Planner with the City of Victorville. His email, phone, and mailing address may be found on this slide. Thank you very much for listening to our presentation. Now is the time for any public comments so they may be addressed in the future EIR. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that presentation. Do we have people from the public that are looking to speak?
Yes, Tom Cruikshank.
Good evening, Commissioners. Shall I go ahead?
Yes, we can hear you.
Great. Thank you for your time this evening. My name is Tom Cruikshank. I am with Space Center Miraloma, Inc. We are the owner of and applicant of the project before you this evening, and we really appreciate your time. We've been a member of the community in Victorville for 20 plus years. We actually developed a building at 17486 Nisqually Road in the same development here at Foxborough Industrial Park. We built that building as a build-to-suit and then re-tenanted the building in 2011 with a national manufacturer. They've been a wonderful tenant in Victorville. And in addition to that, we've really enjoyed working with the staff over the years, 20 plus years. We've known Keith and Sophie and Travis on this project, and Michael and Scott, just super appreciative of everyone's time. We are looking forward to bringing this new project through the EIR process. We've started acquiring these parcels a long time ago. I mean, I might even say 2007, 2006 range. I'm guessing and trying to remember, but it's been a long time. So we're really looking forward to that. You know, we've been working on all of our technical studies that James just presented, and James did a great job. So I just wanted to again say thank you to you commissioners and city staff, and look forward to continuing to be a part of the community up in Victorville, and happy to answer any other questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Our next speaker is Angel Esparza.
Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good evening, members of the Planning Commission. Hope you guys are having a happy beginning of the Happy New Year 2022. My name is Angel Esparza. I'm a member of the Southwest Regional Council of Carpenters. I live and recreate within the vicinity of the project. We believe that the Southwest Carpenters believe that we will be impacted by the environmental impacts of this project. The city should require the project to be built utilizing a local skilled and trained workforce. Local hire and skilled and trained workforce requirements reduce construction-related environmental impacts while benefiting, while benefiting the local economy. In a recent 2020 report titled "Putting California on the High Road: A Jobs and Climate Action Plan for 2030," the California Workforce Development Board concluded that investments in growing, diversifying, and upskilling California's workforce can positively affect returns on climate mitigation efforts. Moreover, just this year, the South Coast Air Quality Management District found that the use of local certified apprenticeship programs or a skilled and trained workforce with a local hire component can result in a pollutant reductions component can result in air pollution reductions, other cities have not hesitated to, to apply skilled and trained workforce requirement for private development projects in their city. Recently, the city of Hayward in Northern California adopted skilled and trained workforce requirements into its general plan and municipal code. Local skilled and trained workforce requirements can boost economic development, mitigate transportation and greenhouse gas impacts by minimizing vehicles miles traveled. That concludes my public comment. Thank you.
Thank you.
There are no additional public speakers.
Okay, thank you. I'll go ahead then and close the public hearing on this scoping meeting. And at this point, is an opportunity for the commissioners to provide their own comments regarding potential environmental issues of concern. Do the commissioners have any comments on this?
Yeah, this is Commissioner Harriman or Vice Chair. Is the proposed drainage off the project site going into the sewer system, or will it be sent into the wash that's back there?
Commissioner Harriman, I believe I can answer that question. It is a separate system. So only, the plumbing from the buildings, like from the bathroom, would go into the sewer system. The storm water on site, though, would be handled through on-site detention. Per state standards, this development and others in the city are not allowed to allow their post-development flows to exceed the pre-development stormwater flows. So that's why they would have the detention bases on site. And our consultant, I believe, can pull up that presentation and show you where those would be located.
Okay, thanks. That's all for me.
Commissioner Messon also has a question. I had a question about the rail spur. I wanted to know if BNSF has been contacted, and if so, what is the estimated time of completion for that add-on?
Thank you, Commissioner Messon. I believe this question would probably be best answered by the applicant.
Yeah, are you hearing me okay? Scott?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Yep. Thank you, Commissioner, for the question. So at this time, we're showing future potential rail service on the east side of the building, farthest away from Esparza Road and all the way down on Ottawa. If you can see the site plan, I don't have it in front of me. James would have to put that up, but we are just showing future potential rail service. We aren't planning to construct it at this time, only because we aren't sure, obviously, with a speculative building and wanting to go through the EIR process, who exactly the tenant would be and if they would require rail service. So what we're essentially trying to do is provide some flexibility for future rail potential if a occupant of the building would require it. And what that means is that you set the elevation of the building to be rail served on the east to accommodate that. But at this time, we don't have a specific plan and therefore have not reached out to the BNSF Railroad to make that type of connection. I hope I answered your question.
You did, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Cook-Askins here. I have one question. Is there already a pre-designated truck route for that area? As far as of the trucks coming in and out?
Yes, Chairman Cook-Askins, thank you for that question. There is designated truck routes within our city's general plan. And Hesperia Road, also the Squally Road are designated as those routes for the trucks to take.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I have one more question. How wide is Ottawa going to be? Because we've had a problem in the past with a lot of trucks parking and their trailers on the street. And I'm just curious. I certainly don't want that to happen again. Is the street going to be able to accommodate all the truck traffic? I'm sure the street is going to be able to accommodate that. I'm just worried about all the parking on the street.
Scott, I can answer that if you'd like.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yes, commissioners, this is Brian Gangler, city engineer. Yes, I know the street you're talking about on Nisqually, which was actually designed, that section was designed as an arterial to accommodate on-street truck parking. However, Ottawa, as I recall, is designed as a collector, so it's not as wide along that section. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's my recollection. But what we could do is prohibit parking along that stretch of Ottawa so that the trucks would have to park on the property.
And has the project been designed to be able to accommodate all that?
Yes, that's my understanding. The applicant might be able to answer that in more detail.
Yes, again, this is Tom Cruikshank as applicant. So what we have done as a design element of the building is have additional trailer parking in the truck yards for the building. And that should be on your site plan there on the presentation. You can see the truck yard depth accommodates additional trailer parking on the side of the building, on the truck yard sides of the building. So we have made efforts to mitigate any street parking and provided for it on site.
Thank you.
Commissioner Thomas, will there be a traffic signal at Ottawa and Hesperia Road?
That is part of the environmental analysis. The project would have to have a traffic study. But at this time, I'm not sure if the city engineer wants to provide any more feedback.
I don't have anything to report at this time. I know that there is like Scott said, there is a traffic study required that has to measure the traffic impacts for the project. And but I don't know at this time how the project will be conditioned or what the requirement will be.
And is that traffic study going to be part of the draft EIR? Or is that after, and is that part of the site plan approval then?
It is one of the supporting documents with the EIR.
Okay.
Does that traffic study also include the traffic we anticipate coming in from the Green Tree extension, assuming that it would be completed before the project begins?
Yes. So when a traffic study is prepared, it takes into account all the traffic, not just from the particular project, but the traffic that comes from other areas as well. So that's one of the things that will be addressed.
Thank you.
Okay, if there's no other questions, then I wasn't sure. Are we going to be looking for any kind of a motion of approval or for direction, or is that not needed in this item?
It is not needed. If you just close the public hearing, we'll bring this back to you when the EIR and the project is ready for commission's consideration.
So the next thing will be an actual draft of the report, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. Then we can now move on to new business, item number 4, staff report, please.
Thank you, Chairman Kurth. Item number 4 is case PCP-21-001. It's consideration of Planning Commission policy to provide placement guidance for applicants seeking to establish new car washes and gas stations within the city. Staff previously brought forward an analysis to the Planning Commission, which is shown on the screen here, of all of the existing and proposed facilities that are pending in the city. Based on the feedback that was received by the Planning Commission, staff's returning today with a draft policy for consideration. Policy will help guide new developments, so they know up front the expectation of the Planning Commission. With that, staff put together roughly five main points for a policy to start the discussion. And with that, I'll bring it back. I'll hand it back to the chairman to answer any questions the commission may have.
Yes, thank you for that. And are there any questions from the commission on staff's report here?
This is Commissioner Thomas. No questions, but the 5 points that they've actually pointed out here, I think are good. And I have no questions, but I do like what they've laid out here is future policy.
Commissioner Messon has a question. I just want clarification. So 2 accessory car washes can be added to a gas station as long as there isn't a standalone within the 1,000 feet, correct?
Yes, based on policy number 3, that is correct.
Thank you.
And I would like to point out that this is just guidance. This is not a strict municipal code standard. So it does still allow for the developers to proceed forward and bring forward a project to the Planning Commission for consideration. But they would be, fully understand what the policy states, and they'd have to explain their unique circumstance to the commission. And the Planning Commission can take that into consideration and still approve a project that may not meet all of these policy standards. It was specifically drafted in a manner to give the Planning Commission flexibility, but also give that guidance to developers, because we do still see these type of facilities coming across the counter at City Hall. And we as staff want to give them the appropriate guidance and make the best planning choices for the city. So I just wanted to point that out, that it is flexible, and we don't want to stop a development at the staff level that doesn't comply with this. If an applicant really truly wants to take the effort and go through a full entitlement package and bring that forward to the commission. So it still allows that applicant that ability.
That was the question I was going to ask when it came down to the like looking at maybe a real world difference between a should and a shall. I know in the past we've had some planning commission policies that weren't actually set in stone, but it was something to look at maybe a little bit deeper or give guidance to an applicant. In this case, because I have just a little bit of a problem with a couple of these items, but I do see that if it's a should, not a shall, I would like to know that, at a staff level, at the counter or at the DRC type meetings, that staff, there are certain cases that staff would and could still support. Say, for example, it was a major 4 commercial node giant intersection on the west side to 10 years down the road, 5 years down the road, that if it made sense that there was more than 2 gas stations in that large commercial area, that would be looked at and not discouraged. That's my only fear.
Yeah, so all of these projects would be required to submit a feasibility study. So if they did have a unique circumstance where there was an extreme demand for a certain facility, staff would obviously take that into consideration and allow the commission to review all of that material if they brought the project forward.
And Scott, this isn't necessarily retroactive either, right? As far as the 28 pending projects.
That was one thing that's not broken down further because pending projects, as we mapped them, include projects that have already been entitled and may be under construction. And it also includes projects that have not been entitled by the Planning Commission yet and have only gone through maybe preliminary reviews with the city, or they've submitted a formal application and are getting close to getting closer to this public hearing that the Planning Commission will review. In saying that, if this policy is approved, we as staff would provide the policy to all of the projects that have not received Planning Commission approval. Because the projects that have received approval, they're entitled, they have rights to build. But projects that are still in the pipeline, I believe it's pertinent to share that information with the developer so they understand what guidance was given from the commission.
Okay, if there's no other discussion from the commission, then I'll go ahead and open up the public comments section for this agenda item. Do we see anyone that wants to speak to us online on agenda item number 4?
No, I do not.
Okay, then I'll close the public comment section. And I'll bring it back to the commission. There is a draft resolution attached to our agenda here. We do need a motion, right? If the commission chooses, they could make a motion to approve the resolution that was presented. Is that correct?
That is correct, and I apologize. I failed to read out what the staff recommendation is. It's that the Planning Commission provide feedback on the draft Planning Commission policy, which you have, and if deemed appropriate, approve resolution number P-21-052, which is attachment A to this agenda item.
Thanks.
Well, first, thanks for all the work the planning department did on this. And I would like to move that we approve the recommendation by the planning department.
And I second that motion. Commissioner Thomas.
So I have a first fight by Vice Chair Herman and a second by Commissioner Thomas. I will take a roll call vote. Commissioner Cook-Askins.
Aye.
Commissioner Messin.
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas.
Aye.
Vice Chair Herman.
Aye.
Chair Kurth.
I still do have a couple of just one issue with it that I just don't feel comfortable with. So at this point, I'm going to oppose.
Motion passes with Chair Kurth voting no.
Thank you. And that moves us on to item number 5, dealing with update of Planning Commission rules and process. Staff report, please.
Thank you, Chairman Kurth. The last time that the Planning Commission rules were adopted was back in 2000, I should say updated, was in 2019. Pursuant to Municipal Code Section 2-12-110, the Municipal Code requires the Planning Commission to have adopted rules. Given that it's a new year, we went through formal nominations and approval of a chair and vice chair. We felt that it was pertinent to bring forward the Planning Commission rules to be looked at again. And as staff, we've identified 2 items that could help streamline the Planning Commission review process. And first is the work session, the 15-minute work session. This is a brown body, and any conduct that you have will have to be held to those brown body rules. That's why you see the requirement now to have public comment period in that 15-minute work session. And it's become at times somewhat confusing, in my opinion, to the public to have that work session. Applicants may show up at the 5 p.m. meeting and they weren't able to hear the questions that the Planning Commission may have asked during that work session. So I just wanted to make clear the work session is not a requirement. It was something that's kind of evolved over time with the Planning Commission. It's kind of been just kind of the normal MO for the commission over the years. However, all of the discussion items that are handled during that work session can be handled in the normal meeting. So there's really no benefit to having a work session, in my opinion, if all of that information can be handled during the normal public hearing. In saying that, though, staff is still available to answer questions that a commissioner may have. And we would just encourage the commission to convert that work session to just part of the normal meeting. And then secondly is just the removing the public comment period for items that are not on the agenda to earlier in the meeting to correspond with how the city council conducts their business. And with that, the recommendation today is that the Planning Commission approve resolution number P-22-001, adopting the updated Planning Commission rules. And I'm available should you have questions.
Okay, thank you. Questions of staff from any commissioners at this time? Okay, well, I'm personally in support of both these changes. I think it totally makes sense. You know, for a number of years that I've been on the commission, we've just always had the pre-workshop. But I've noticed over the last, handful of years, it doesn't seem to be that there's as much of a need for it. And I think some of that stems from our staff reports becoming more and more thorough. And so we do have a lot of really good information. And then when it comes time, if there happens to be a question, I think we all agree that those can easily be handled, during the actual meeting. And I think we all need to keep in mind as well that, if there was something that really did demand more in-depth discussion or analyzation, there's nothing stopping us from calling a special workshop or any kind of special meeting, or like Mr. Webb said, reaching out, to staff at any time for clarifications from the experts. And I also like the idea of moving the general public comments section closer to the beginning of the agenda, and for the reasons that were stated. And I also feel that it's a benefit to the public too, if they just have a general public comment, that they can kind of get that out of the way and get on with their evening and get back to dinner, versus sitting through what could be, sometimes a long meeting just to say your couple of minutes piece at the very end. So I'll open up the public comments on agenda number 5. If there's anyone out there online that wants to speak to us.
There are no speakers.
There are no speakers, then I will close that public hearing and bring it back to the commission.
I, Commissioner Cook Askins, will make a motion to approve item number 5 as presented by staff.
I'll
Hi,
second
Commissioner.
that.
So I have a first by Commissioner Cook Askins, a second by Vice Chair Harriman. I'll take a roll call vote. Commissioner Cook Askins,
Aye.
Commissioner Messon,
Aye.
Commissioner Thomas,
Aye.
Vice Chair Harriman,
Aye.
Chair Kurth.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. And right now it is time for general public comments. This is the point in time that the general public can speak to the commission on items that are not on the agenda, as long as they're within our subject matter jurisdiction. Is there anyone online that would like to make public comments?
I have no public speakers.
Okay, thank you. Then we will move for the final presentation and any reports from the commission. We'll start with Commissioner Messon. If you have anything to bring up or any comments for the commission.
Nothing. I just hope everyone enjoyed their holidays. Thank you.
Thank you. And Commissioner Cook Askins.
Yes, I'd like to wish everyone a Happy New Year. And I'd also like to inquire, would it be possible for the commission to get a comprehensive list of all the projects that we approved for 2020?
Sure, we can get that information. We'll provide it to the full commission.
Thank you.
And just to clarify, that was for just 2020?
Yes.
Yes, we can do that.
And it wasn't for last year?
No, excuse me, I am behind for 2021, excuse me.
Yes, we'll put that in a chart format to show all the projects that were approved. Yes.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah,
so
that's
much.
good. That's a good idea. That would be interesting. Thanks. And Commissioner Thomas.
No, I don't have anything. Thank you.
Thank you. And Vice Chairman Harriman.
Yeah, it's been brought to my attention that somebody's purchased the old glass plant. I'm really excited to hear about that. That's a long time coming. That's really going to be great. I'm glad I was hoping there would have been a lumber mill there because of the rail spur, but I think that's really a good move forward for the city.
And all I wanted to say was, Happy New Year to everyone. And I want to thank the commissioners for their confidence once again of keeping me in the seat as the chairman's seat. And are there any staff report or staff comments?
Yes, thank you, Chairman Kurth, commissioners. I just have one piece of good news to share. As of 4:41 today, we received notification from the Department of Housing and Community Development. This is the state agency that reviews our housing element. They've issued a letter that our revised housing element meets statutory requirements. And we plan to take that forward to the city council at their Tuesday meeting next week. So I just wanted to thank the commission again for all their efforts over the past year. We could add that to a project that has most likely been approved. So we'll
Excellent.
add that to your list.
That's good. Good job, you guys. Everyone on the staff level that worked on that. And I know it's hard to get those tight timelines in there, and the state can be real strict. And Scott, you and I talked about that a little bit a while ago about the biggest thing about meeting these deadlines. So good job, everyone. One portion of it down now.
Yes.
So with that, then I will thank you, everyone, and I'll call meeting adjourned.
Good night.